Hi, I'm David Campbell with Coldwell Banker, and thanks for tuning in to another Difference with David video. Today I wanted to talk about what you might expect on a sale price based upon your list price. So take a look at this chart. So you can see that on the left-hand side there is the percentage of list price, and across the bottom are the months throughout the year 2020. And by the way, this is just for Beaver Creek only, but look at this chart and you can see that based on that graph, most things were at or even above asking price. Now you look at August and that looks like a big dip, but look at the scale. It really only dipped down to just below 99% of sale price. So the moral of the story is, in the seller's market, sellers are getting usually what they are asking for. So I can run this chart for any city or any neighborhood even, if that would help you out. So let me know. Appreciate you checking in. David Campbell with Coldwell Banker. Thank you. Hello, I'm David Campbell with Coldwell Banker. Thanks for stopping back by and watching another Difference with David video. This one is about residential property disclosure. And a property disclosure is required by the state of Ohio. There are several reasons why it might not be required on certain properties, but the two biggest exceptions we see would be in a state where somebody's passed away, it's not required, and with a foreclosure, bank's not required to fill one out. So you really gotta just be on your toes with those and make sure your inspections are good and all that stuff, since you don't have any heads up at all. So here's what one looks like. This is just the front page. We're going to look at the rest of this later, but it says right here, this is not a warranty of any kind from the owner or the agent. So this is just what it says, a disclosure only. So sometimes buyers will ask me, well, what if the seller lies about the property, flat out lies, or just makes a mistake? Well, that can create a lot of problems. That's the whole different story, maybe for another video. But the good news is at least now you have something in writing from the seller as to what they said. And years ago, this did not exist. It was just a caveat emptor type of thing. So if you want to hear a little bit more about this, I'm trying to keep these videos short and sweet. I'll have a follow-up on the residential property disclosure. All right, thanks for watching. Hello, I'm David Campbell with Coldwell Banker. Thanks for coming back to my Difference with David videos. This one is a continuation on the residential property disclosure, so let's take a look at it. So this is the copy of it. It's 5 pages. The owner's going to fill this out to the best of their knowledge. The things about water supply, sewer, roof can be a big one. Some of these have a time limit on them, but not longer than the past 5 years. So this roof leaked 6 years ago. They would not have to disclose it on here. Water intrusion, basement crawl space, even on a slab you can have it. Sellers tend to put a little positive spin on that description sometimes. So every now and then you have to kind of read between the lines. Structural issues, wood destroying insects, which we have plenty of those in the Dayton area. Mechanical systems, hazardous materials, radon gas, plenty of that in the Dayton area. We'll talk about that in one of the videos. Floodplain, on and on, boundary disputes, all this stuff. So if you don't get to see this by the time you've written your offer and got it accepted, you may have grounds to rescind it. So if you want to talk more about this, look me up. I'd be happy to speak with you. Thanks for watching. David Campbell with Coldwell Banker. Welcome back to The Difference with David, where I try to answer various questions people ask me, throughout the year. And one of those is, what is the hottest price range? What sells the fastest, the quickest, all of that? Well, take a look at this. More stats from the Dayton Area Board of Realtors, and looking here at 0 to 100 price range. Then this is the days on the market. almost up to 100 there. So you might expect that to be pretty quick on those smaller properties, but many of those are in such bad condition that might not be so many people after them, and financing problems, that type of thing. And then, of course, your $1 million listings, not a whole lot of $1 million buyers in Dayton, but there are a few. But here's our hot zone, that 100 to 350, those really go under the 100-day mark. And you might be saying to yourself, well, 100 days, I thought everything sold the first day in this strong market we're in. Well, not everything does. And this also includes the time it took to close. So if it was a conventional loan and it took, say, 30 days, then a property that's listed there that sold in 90 was actually on the market for 60. Make sense? All right, thanks for watching. Talk to you later. Hi, I'm David Campbell with Coldwell Banker. Welcome back to my Difference with David video. This one is about buyer contracts. As a buyer, you're going to be a lot more comfortable if you have seen a contract and gone over it before you find your house. This will give you a chance to look over everything, digest it, ask questions, that type of thing. I always offer my buyers that option to come in. It's free, no obligation. Come in the office, 45 minutes to an hour. We'll go over a contract, make sure you understand it, go over disclosures. You'll feel a lot better. I know you will. This is the basic contract we use at Dayton Area Board. Some things on here that we would go over: earnest money, closing costs, there things that stay with the property. There are things about home warranty. Here's the inspection phase. That's where we run into the most problems by far. Settlement period, that's how we get through the inspection problems. Owner's title insurance, tax proration, number of things on here that I'll go over with you. Make sure you're comfortable with it, feel good about it. Again, no obligation, free service. I just think it really, really helps you understand. And the first time you see this contract should not be when you're writing it. Okay? I appreciate you watching. Thanks. Bye-bye. Hi, I'm David Campbell with Coldwell Banker. Thanks for tuning in to another Difference with David video. Today I wanted to talk about dual agency. I'm oftentimes asked about dual agency and how it affects things. And when you're a dual agent, you end up representing both the buyer and the seller in a transaction. And that can happen when you're the listing agent, and then here comes a buyer and they want to buy your listing and they don't have an agent representing them, so they ask you to do it. You can be a dual agent where you're working with both buyer and seller. It can be pretty awkward at times. It can lead to problems if not done correctly. Seller typically feels like the agent should owe them total allegiance since the seller is paying all the professional fees, the commission, in other words. The buyer can feel kind of, especially if they don't know you well, they can feel like, hey, this guy or gal must know the seller a little better, and they're probably favoring that person. So that's where the problems can arise. Take a look at this sheet right here. And this is the basics of the dual agency. I underlined a couple things there. It says, as a dual agent, the agent shall not advocate or negotiate on behalf of either the buyer or the seller. Shall not suggest or recommend specific terms, including price and da-da-da. So that's the limitation of being a dual agent. You end up not being an advocate for either one, being neutral in the transaction. So my personal policy is to not practice dual agency, but I have at the same time helped plenty of buyers and sellers purchase a property with just me only in the transaction and get them to the closing table with everybody being happy. So if you want to know more about that, love to speak with you. David Campbell with Coldwell Banker. Thanks. Hello, I'm David Campbell with Coldwell Banker. Thanks for stopping by my Difference with David videos here. This one is about listing contracts. I often get the question, how long does a listing contract have to be? Well, it can be any amount that you negotiate. It can be from 1 day to over a year. Fact is, most of them are 90 to 180 days. If you're in a market where your average marketing time is 120 days, obviously doesn't make a lot of sense to do a 90-day listing. I mean, you got to have enough gas, in the tank to get there. So you make it accordingly. Here is a copy of a listing contract, and timeline goes here. The reason people often ask about the length of the time is because they're afraid they're going to get stuck with a listing agent that's not doing their job. They end up not liking them for whatever reason. It's just not going well. So what I have to combat that is what I call a worry-free listing agreement. If at any time during the listing you feel like I dropped the ball, didn't do what I said I was going to do, you're not happy, whatever, we'll cancel it. There's no cancellation fee like some agents have. Won't give you a hassle over it. If it's not working, it's not working. So if that sounds good to you, look me up, give me a call. Be more than happy to discuss further. Thanks for watching. Hi, I'm David Campbell with Coldwell Banker coming at you with another Difference with David video. This one's about owner's title insurance. What is it? It's a insurance that can protect you against things not of record. You've done a title search, you paid for that, but things can still creep in there that wouldn't come up on a title search, like a forgery, a deed by a minor, a deed by somebody of unsound mind. These are things that can come up later, aside from that title search. So you don't want to try to figure out if you want this product while you're writing your offer. It might be too late in a hot market. So do your research ahead of time, talk to your agent, talk to your lender, and figure it out. I'm also always available for questions. David Campbell with Coldwell Banker. Thanks for watching. Hi, David Campbell with Coldwell Banker, back with another Difference with David video. Today I wanted to talk about appraisal gap coverage or appraisal gap guarantee. What is an appraisal gap? Well, it's the difference between the sale price that you've agreed upon and what the appraiser thinks it's worth. And they don't always match. So if the appraisal is short, then you've got a gap. So one way to win a bid in this competitive market is to alleviate risk for your seller and say, hey, look, don't worry about any potential appraisal gap. I'll cover the full amount, or I'll cover a part of it, up to $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever you're comfortable with. So there is a form for it. So let me show that to you here real quick so you know what you would be signing. So here is the form. It's part of an escalation clause. I've got that up at the top here. You don't need to see that for right now, but if you want to screenshot this is what you'd be signing. And basically, real quick, you check that box. I'm going to cover the difference in the appraisal gap up to whatever it is, 10K, 20, I've seen 30, I've seen, it depends on the price of the house and how much you want it. But that is the document that we use. You'd sign this, we'd send that in with the offer, and hopefully that helps you win the bid. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Hello, David Campbell here. Welcome back to the Difference with David videos. Today I want to talk about list price versus sale price. Sellers often ask, how close to asking you think we'll get? Well, don't listen to my opinion. Let's look at some of the facts here. So this is a chart from the Dayton Area Board of Realtors, and you can see here, January 2020, if you had a property listed for $100,000, you might expect at that time you would have gotten 98% of that. A couple things going on in this chart, the obvious one being the trend upward from 2015. So what's that from? Seller's market. There's less inventory out there. You've also got some peaks and valleys even within the years. So if you want to see the particular numbers for your house and your area, reach out to me. Glad to discuss this stuff with you. Thanks for watching.